Hey guys, Gary J here, and got a new gadget here to show you. First of all, I want to give you the dimensions of this box right here. And in this box here, we have this box is about 9 inches across, and about 6 inches wide, and about 2 inches deep. The reason I give you those dimensions because this is a small box, and this makes it very useful, I think, as a nice tool. Something that's very compact. You can see the width of my hand right here. Makes it very compact. If you want to put this in your car, you want to put it in your truck, you want to put it on in your motorcycle, if you're traveling or something like that. Okay, so what this is something I ordered about 6 months ago. And believe me, it was a real pain to get this shovel. Now, you may have seen a ton of commercials on the internet, on YouTube, and other places about these particular shovels. And I did. And I thought, well, this is really neat because the shovel is something that's really underestimated. This is a very cheap thing here, made out of plastic, I think. It's not that great, but this is the shovel right here. Now, they make several different types of these shovels. Some are a lot better looking than this one right here, but this is my hand right here. So this is a very tiny shovel in one way, and this is about 5 inches wide. Sorry about that bump. About six and a half inches long right here. Well, we'll go 7 inches altogether for the shovel. And these right here are used if you got a bolt or something like that these might fit. You could unscrew a bolt or something like that with it. And this right here, you can use to open a Coca-Cola bottle or something like that. And could also use that to cut maybe some thin rope or nylon maybe. Now, this is supposed to be the long handle. I would say if you're going to get one of these, get one with the long handle. And this right here, I put this in here because I didn't want things rattling around. This right here is the end of the handle right here. Now, I really can't tell what kind of metal this is right here, but it's very pretty type of metal. But it does not remind me of aluminum. And one of these has an end on it here that comes off where you can use it to mount a camera to it. But you can break glass with this right here. If you had to break the glass on a vehicle window, you know, if you ever see a cop trying to break a vehicle window glass with a baton, doesn't really want to break it all. But you need a point, so you can kind of tap it really quick and fast to break the window and on the side of a glass or something like that. Why you want to do that, I don't know. Could use this right here. Some have them on certain types of knives. Used to bash people in the skull with or something like that. It's a tool for protection. But the end of this handle, and this is the very end of the handle, you've got a whistle, right? Well, not a whistle. You do have a whistle right here. And you got a magnesium stick right here to make a fire with. And you simply put this in your mouth right here and blow. And it's not very loud. Well, actually, that was kind of loud in here. Outside, it doesn't sound very loud. And you got a little hole right here for a lanyard to put in there. And so, I mean, that's kind of a neat idea that you have a magnesium rod. If this is a part of your survival tool, I would have a Bic BIC lighter with me. The next part of this handle, you have a blade like this right here, and this blade right here, it's got kind of a sharp edge right here. You could use this right here if you had a piece of wood and you were skimming the wood and stuff like that for making firewood. And this part right here, you could use that to scale fish with. You could use this like a spear to stab a fish in the water or something like that. And let's find what end. Okay. You would screw it on like this right here. Now this shovel is supposed to have like 23 different purposes, okay, that you can use it for or more. But you can open a bottle cap with this right here too. Open a bottle cap. And again, stab a fish with this right here. Cut with this right here. You're not going to cut too much. That blade's not too bad, thickness wise, but you could scale with this right here. You could cut with this a little bit, I think, with this blade right here, but not that would not be your main purpose, cutting with this. So that's one of the purposes of the tool right here. And I think feels awfully light. I would not bet my life on this particular one. They make some a lot better than this one right here. Now this handle right here fits this little multi screwdriver, flathead and Phillips here. You just stick that in there and you can unscrew stuff. So I mean, this is kind of neat. The shovel right here, they make some of them where, now you could do it with this one if you wanted to, I suppose. Cut off about this angle right here, 45 or something like that. And that way you could mount it in this position right here if you wanted to do that. Because they have some that'll mount from like vertical here to like 45 to like this and then all the way down like that. But with this one here, you've got this washer here, and it fits up against flesh with this right here. And this part up here screws. You just keep screwing that. And so that locks it in place. So you can dig with this once you put your handles together, or however you want to do it. One thing about this shovel too, it's got a sharpened edge right here. So you can chop with it like an axe. And this right here is a really wicked cutting blade right here. This is like what they call like a diamond cut. You see these on pole saws and stuff for cutting limbs down. They have the long pole saw. I've got a video on one of those. These things will cut limbs, but you don't have very much area here for cutting on this. And you got what, 3 inches of cutting blades on this right here, which I understand why they didn't extend it all the way out. And this blade here for chopping is like 4 inches. The bevel here is not bad. The bevel here is fairly good for chopping. It's not too terribly sharp. And then this right here is real thick right here for shoveling, so that looks pretty good. This looks like the thickest part of the whole shovel right here. And when you put all this together, you see it's hollow in here. And it's got a rubber O-ring right here. So you can stick stuff down in here. I take like hooks and fishing line and stuff like that, and maybe matches that you've done something to, like coated them with candle wax. And the only thing about the weakest point of this, besides the metal, whatever that's made out of, is where you screw this together. If you don't get that tight, you could break it. I'm pretty sure of that. And this, they have a short handle version, which I think the short handle is probably this length right here, which would be 20 inches. You don't want the short handle. You'd want the long handle. And your other handle here. And it's got a rubber O-ring here too. A lot of different survival things you can put. Now, this is a little firm, I guess because of the rubber O-ring. Make sure you get this thing really tight, because if it's loose on this handle, these sections, and you're chopping with it, you're going to damage or break it, I'm pretty sure. And then we take our end right here. And to make sure all of that's tight. So this is kind of what it looks like when you're through with it. And it actually looks pretty aesthetically. Okay. Looks like something they would have on a lunar module, like for shoveling moon dust or something like that. It's not that big, but the advantage to me is that it's compact and it's small, and that if you're traveling something like that and you need a shovel, a lot of different reasons you could use a shovel. Sometimes to dig your car tire out of the mud and stuff like that, and various things. But this would probably work for that. And if you had to use it like a weapon or something like that, like you could swing it like a baseball bat. Now, if you hit somebody with this edge right here, this diamond cut, that will go to the bone. This is really sharp, really wicked. You can hardly touch that without cutting yourself. This edge right here is fairly sharp too. This part looks well made right here. The rest of this, the handle and stuff like that, I'm not sure what that is, but it's very lightweight, extremely lightweight. Again, it looks very nice. I wish I knew what it was made out of. Again, you can break glass with that. So a lot of different things you can do with this. And when I first saw this, I thought, well, that's a great idea to have something like this. I could carry this on my motorcycle and stuff like that when I'm traveling, because it is so compact, and that's what I like about it. So I'll give you a rundown of the things that you can do with it. Okay, the web page says that you can shovel with it, you can dig with it, you can brace things with it. I don't know about bracing. You can cut logs and ropes, which I think that's pretty obvious on the blade part. Pry with it, use it for prying, which I would not use this for prying. Just the way the handle and stuff like that feels, you would not want to break it. You can hammer with it. Maybe at the very back of it right here, on the blade part, you might be able to hammer with that part a little bit, but I wouldn't do it a lot with that. Your fire starter and that magnesium rod up in the handle at the end here, and to use your blade right here to strike the magnesium rod is what that would be used for too. Another purpose. You got the whistle on it. You can chop with it like a hatchet. Camera tripod, which I don't see that on this one. Wire clamping. Self-defense weapon, which it could be used as self-defense on that diamond edge blade part. Axing. I don't know about axing, but I would say chopping but like a hatchet. Hoe in a garden. That blade will turn 45 degrees for hoeing type, which nobody's going to take a shovel this small and hoe with it because it's very small. Hooking, hunting, peeling. You could peel with that little blade. Chiseling. Don't know about chiseling with this. Sawing, yeah, you could saw with that 3-inch diamond cut blade a little bit. Shearing and trenching. You could dig a latrine and stuff like that with it. Bottle can opener, that's on the blade here. And more. So those are some of the things you can do with this. It is very versatile in that sense, you know, the various things that you can do with it. Okay, did I give you the length of this whole thing? Is 26 inches is the whole length from the end of the shovel to the end of the handle there. So that it doesn't bother me that it's 26 inches long because I don't want a full-size shovel. And it seems like this would work pretty well, you know, just in an emergency situation. If I was going to be chopping with this thing, you know, like a hatchet or something like that, you just screw that down and this big washer right here holds it. See, this looks pretty thick right here on here. So you can have it like this right here if you're going to hoe with it. Now, when you look at all the commercials on the internet about these shovels right here, it looks twice this size on the commercials. And what it is, they've got a fellow I know from looking at it and looking at the shovel, the guy that you see using these mainly are Chinese people who are probably about 5'2" or 3", weigh about 125 pounds. So in their hands, and I'm not putting down Chinese people. I love Chinese people. Some of my best friends are Chinese. But these are small people. And so when you take a shovel like this right here and you put this in the hands of these people, because they got one guy standing on the thing, you're not going to have an American person, a couple 100 pounds standing on this thing, I don't believe, without breaking something on it. So it makes it look a lot bigger, but this really is the true size of this particular shovel. I like about everything about it, and the price on this was under $50, maybe $48, $50, and that includes shipping and handling. Now, everything seems good about it, and you can make your own case for it and all that stuff. And again, carry it, you know, for emergencies, and put other stuff inside. These handles are hollow. And I'm going to try it out and see how it works, you know, hopefully it don't break. Okay, we're going to cut this little sapling here with the blade edge right here that normally it would cut with. Cutting that little limb off. Now that was pretty good cut right there. This is about 2.5 inches thick. So that cut pretty good. So okay, after a few hits, this right here screws down to hold the blade in place. This come loose just a little bit, which that's probably expected right there. Still come loose again. This tree's catching some limbs right here. But actually, this blade really cuts well. And so that blade cut really well on this. Now what happened was the blade came loose a little bit. This right here turning a little bit. So when I hit, the blade was turning on its own. So that's why it took a little longer. But again, that blade's still loose. Now, I don't know if there's a remedy for that, but I mean, it's easy just to, if you got both hands, because I'm holding the phone with one. But again, one more cut with this right here and show you how deep this went in. Now I'm using about 50% power on that. You do not want to use this like 100% power. You probably break something. But see, it cut in really good right there. So that's not a problem. And then you'd want to hit it here. It's a little difficult to I'm just going to go ahead and lay down. Yeah. Okay, this is the diamond edge part right here. This is a pretty wicked edge. Now on this, I can tell you, it'd be a lot easier to cut this with the blade part than to try to saw this in two. This would be for something a lot smaller, I guess, because it's just not that long. So you could delimb a tree pretty good with this. So that part works. As far as digging, one thing unlike a regular shovel, you can't hardly put your foot on here. You could if you wanted to, but you don't want your foot to go across the blade right here and cut your foot. The blade feels real good. I'm doing that. Okay, I turned this blade at 45 right here. I turned the blade at a 45, and a root. To me, if you're going to do any shoveling, this is the way to do it. That works a lot better than using your blade this way to shovel something. Now, you could dig a hole pretty good with this right here, like that. Everything feels tight on this, okay? The only thing I've seen, like with chopping, is that this will come loose a little bit. This will work loose, and your blade will turn. So then you got to lock this back down again. But that's only happening on chopping like a tree limb. But it works pretty good. Again, I would only use 50% power on these, because I don't know what this handle's made out of. Mind you, of something like a faucet, you know, that kind of metal. But she seems to be doing pretty good so far. She feels tight, but that's the only thing I can see really wrong, is that it's not really wrong, it's just the way it's designed, that this actually turns a little bit when you're chopping the tree with it, with the blade in a vertical position instead of 45. Or actually, it's not 45, it's 90 degree. So that seems to do pretty good. Now, if you had to throw this at something, say a bear or something like that, it's going to be pretty wicked. Dug in pretty deep. So you can throw it. That was a 12 o'clock throw. Let's try throwing it sideways, like this. Yeah, this stick's pretty good, you can see. So, you can throw it, it still feels good. So, I looked at some others out there similar to this design. They look a lot beefier than this. I don't know if they are or not. But for 50 bucks, I think it's a pretty good deal, other than the part of waiting forever to get it from some of these companies. If you order it directly from China, you might get it a lot quicker. I don't know. But maybe this helps you guys out a little bit on getting something to take with you on your motorcycle or backpack. It is really lightweight for what you can use it for.